but the company used to be called Kivalliq Energy, and we still hold one of the highest grade uranium deposits in the world. Hang on to your hats and your toupees, because I'll be walking through the opportunity that ValOre presents. The Pedra Branca Palladium Platinum project in northeastern Brazil gives shareholders of ValOre ownership of an entire Palladium Platinum district. My name is Jim Paterson. I'm the chairman and CEO of ValOre Metals Corp. This slide is important. During this presentation, I will be making forward-looking statements, and the mineral exploration sector is one that carries a lot of risks. So please read this slide in your own time and contact us if you ever have questions. We're always there to provide answers. We feel that an informed investor is a strong investor and a better investor for the company. This is what I'll cover in my presentation today. I've already talked to you about the opportunity to own an entire PG district or Palladium Platinum district in Brazil. I'll also talk about Discovery Group and ValOre, which is our team and the company. I'll give you a snapshot into the Palladium, Platinum, and Rhodium marketplaces, which have really been on fire the last year. And then I'll give you three kind of broad stroke ideas on why we love the Pedra Branca project, this project in northeastern Brazil. Firstly, there's been substantial prior investment. Secondly, this has district scale potential. And thirdly, there's a lot of value to uncover by doing just boots and hammer exploration and utilizing new innovations and process improvement. Finally, I'll talk to you a little bit about what we did this last year and what we'll be doing in 2021. And for those of you that stick around to the very last slide, I'm going to give you a bonus slide for those that can stick it out to the end. ValOre is a proud member of Discovery Group. Discovery Group is an alliance of 9 publicly traded companies based in Vancouver, Canada, with projects all over the world. Those projects range from early stage grassroots exploration projects to construction stage gold projects, and a royalty company that holds royalties on producing precious metals mines around the world. Very varied in terms of the projects, but the thing that unites us all is great people and high quality projects. That combination has given us the ability to do some amazing things together as a group, and we have a great track record of exploration, discovery, and transaction and commercial success. ValOre Metals Corp is traded on the TSX Venture with the symbol VO. Our market cap is roughly 27 million Canadian. There is a high insider ownership of the company. Insiders own over 20%, and Jangada Mines holds a similar amount. It's tightly held and it's very well run. We've got a very strong team, including a very experienced board of directors and a management team that has very relevant experience with projects such as Pedra Branca. The team has a track record of success in mineral exploration, acquisition, fundraising, and M&A. On the right-hand side of this slide, you can see some recent transactions that some of our directors and insiders have been a part of. They're significant, and they've been quite accretive to shareholders. We've done it before. Pedra Branca is a PGE project, palladium platinum rich, in northern Brazil. And this slide is just to show you that the market is robust. Palladium prices are now over 2,000 an ounce. Platinum just crested $1,000 an ounce, and rhodium seems to be on fire as well. One of the reasons is that many of the palladium and platinum mines are in risky jurisdictions. Supply is constrained while demand has remained strong, and industry consolidation is in full effect. This whole graph in the table in the middle is just meant to show you that ValOre acquired the Pedra Branca project at a great time. The bottom left of the graph shows you when we bought it in May. We actually closed the deal in August of 2019. And since then, if you move from the left to the right, you can see that the prices of the underlying commodities for which we're exploring have done nothing but go up. A very robust marketplace for PGEs, and our timing was excellent. This slide just gives you a snapshot of the supply side. So on the left-hand side, you see the palladium deficit over the last few years. It's persistent. In the middle, the platinum market, there's strong investment demand for that. And in fact, this will need to be updated. 2020 seemingly had a deficit as well, as supply was quite fragile and demand remained strong. One of the things I talked about earlier in the previous slide was the jurisdictional risk. If you can see the concentration of where the metals come from globally, where the mines are that produce palladium and platinum, you'll see that about 39% comes from South Africa, 40% comes from Russia, and 5% from Zimbabwe. We consider those areas a bit risky jurisdictionally, and it has actually driven what I will talk about in a future slide, which is industry consolidation, as those producers look to diversify out of those risky jurisdictions into perceived safer jurisdictions. The market for PGEs is for the most part driven by the auto industry, and particularly or specifically catalytic converters. So it's basically an add to an engine that helps to clean noxious fumes. So as environmental restrictions are made tighter and tighter, there's more and more loading of palladium and platinum in certain catalytic converters for engines. The demand is very strong where auto sales are growing, and the future looks very bright for both palladium and platinum, not only for hybrid vehicles, but in the fuel cell economy as well. I talked a little bit before about the concentration jurisdictionally or from a geographic perspective, but if you look at this slide and just kind of imagine 3 quadrants, on the left-hand side, you've got a column of the top 5 producers of palladium in the world. And you can see that about 85% comes of the primary production for palladium comes from 5 different companies. Those are their logos there on the left. So those are the big sharks. Their market cap collectively is about 80 billion. And in the middle there are all the minnows, the developers and the explorers. And things have been going pretty well over the last month or so, or last week. So collectively, even if that market cap was less than $1 billion, you still got some really big producers on the left-hand side that control about 85% of the production, and smaller companies advancing projects in the middle. And what that's created is a bit of a perfect storm for M&A. So specifically the South African producers, you can see on the right-hand side, were involved with some pretty substantial deals over the last couple of years, wherein they were producing and they were looking to get out of South Africa and diversify some of their jurisdictional risk. We think this will continue in the years to come. So we've talked to you a little bit about the marketplace and the team and ValOre, the conditions out there. And now I'd like to talk to you a little bit about why we like, by the team behind ValOre, why we like the Pedro Branco project. So the first order of business is, has there been substantial investment by prior operators or substantial investment regionally? So this slide is meant to show that. If you were to come visit us at the Pedro Branco project, you'd fly to northeastern Brazil and you'd land in a city called Fortaleza at a beautiful new airport. 3 million people live on the ocean in Fortaleza, in those skyscrapers in the top left. And there is a deep water port, a commercial port, and then those yellow lines in the middle there signify paved highways that run into the center of the country. And those paved highways pass by the land position, which is denoted there in the bottom left with kind of a white area. And that is just to the east of the town of Capitão Mor. Capitão Mor is shown on the top right of the image, and that's about 900 people. All of our operations are based out of there. Wonderful, supportive community, and they've been supporting us and supporting previous operators for many decades. So in addition to the regional infrastructure and all the investment that's gone into that in terms of access and infrastructure, there's also a significant amount of money that's been invested through exploration on the project itself. This slide shows a couple different things. On the left-hand side, you can see all the different companies that have had the project over the years and sort of a timeline of exploration. ValOre picked the project up in August of 2019. We spent this first several months going through the data, and then I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the work we did in 2020. On the right-hand side is all the work that the previous operators did, and all told, their work added up to about $35 million worth of exploration. It was very high quality, and we've used that as a foundation to spring forward. In the bottom, you can see what it looks like at the Pedro Branco project. It's not rainforest, it's quite dry, it's savanna, very easy to get around, excellent access, and a very supportive and mining-friendly jurisdiction. The second reason why we like this so much is its district scale potential. Now, this slide shows high-grade and near-surface mineralization. You're looking at a cartoon rendering of a section through one of the deposits been drilled off by previous operators. Along the top, that green line shows the surface of the ground, and then the bottom of the green line along the bottom of the image shows the bottom or the extremity of this mineralized ultramafic intrusion. The vertical lines that run across this image are showing vertical drill holes by previous operators. So you can see that on the left-hand side of the image, this mineralized ultramafic body extends down to about 60 meters, which is quite shallow. And on the right-hand side of the image, that intercept extends down to about 100 meters. So a lot of high-grade mineralization is very close to surface, and there's significant intercepts. In the bottom left-hand side of this image, you can see varying shades of pink, and those basically just show any interval in those vertical drill holes that is at or in excess of the average resource grade for this deposit. So high grade, near surface, and on the next slide, I'll show you why this has district scale potential. So here you see on this slide, similar to the previous slide, but now there are 5 separate cross sections showing similar things. High grade at surface mineralization. But what we're showing in this slide is that these deposits that have been identified to date stretch over 50 kilometers from the top deposit that's been identified called Santo Amaro to the southern deposit that's been identified called Trapia. And there's a lot of exploration potential in between. All told, these 5 deposits host a 43-101 inferred resource of a little over 1 million ounces of palladium, platinum, and gold at about 1.22 grams per ton average grade. What we're looking to do is expand on this, and we believe this project, which is about 38,000 hectares, has significant district scale potential. One of the things that we preach at ValOre is to take advantage of innovations in technology and process improvement. And there's a lot of value that can be surfaced from exploration and mining projects globally just by staying current with the times. So we've been driving very hard to use innovation as we look to advance this project. And that's everything from using the highest resolution satellite imagery available to the public called Worldview, all the way along through exploration and looking at different ways of characterizing ore, sorting ore, concentrating ore, and liberating the minerals. All of these things will help us as we advance the project. So we've talked a little bit about why we like the district and all the investment that's been put in by prior operators. And now I'd just like to give you a summary of what we did, what ValOre did this year. Well, firstly, we drilled a lot of targets. We drilled 9 targets over 6,300 meters. Just to give you an idea, that's over 6 kilometers of drill core if you laid it out end to end. 48 drill holes, and assays have gone to the lab and come back. We've had some great results, which I can talk about. If you ever have any questions, you can come to our website or contact us directly. We're still waiting for 9 holes or assays from 9 holes from the northern target called Santo Amaro. But we had some method to our madness. We really were looking at drilling project areas that would help us expand resources, test targets that had been drilled by previous operators where they had hit mineralization but hadn't followed up. And then thirdly, new discovery drilling or undrilled targets. And we made a discovery in the project this year called C4. The map in the middle, The red outlines just show the blocks of ground that we control, and from the top of the image to the bottom of the image in that middle map image, that's about 40 to 50 kilometers in strike length. And basically, we're incredibly happy with the work we did this year, and we think that significant resource expansion and discovery potential exists at the Pedra Branca project. Some highlights from this year. Well, firstly, we built our technical team considerably. It says here bolstered. I work with some amazing people, incredibly competent, very driven, super creative, and everybody's driving together and rowing in the same boat. It's an amazing group to be a part of, and we're happy that we were able to collect this team. Secondly, we executed a drill program in the midst of a global pandemic with no issues. And I have to compliment and commend our team for being able to do that over 6,300 meters. We identified a methodology, a targeting methodology that we successfully implemented, and it helped us make a discovery. And we'll be able to roll that out property-wide now that we know it is a reality. We also spent quite a bit of time figuring out how we're going to develop this project. And so we spent a lot of time on metallurgy and processing, critical in terms of development for the project. We also secured $2 million from insiders for the program and the work that I just described above. A big part of moving a project from exploration to development is the processing and how you're going to treat the ore and how you're going to mine the ore and develop it and get it to market. So we've had an incredible amount of success. We've tried a number of different processes and methodologies for this. We've got a lot of green lights, high recovery rates. We were able to concentrate the right type of ore, and we've been using innovation as I described previously. So we're getting a lot of really good and positive feedback. It has encouraged us and impelled us to follow up with a lot of these tests. So sometime within the next 6 months, we'll be able to come back to the marketplace with a coherent strategy on the development based on all that we've learned in terms of mineral processing. But the bottom line is it's been highly encouraging. The recovery rates are very high from initial tests. In terms of what we're going to do in 2021, I have a list here, but just to sum it all up, a lot of drilling. We'll be doing a resource drilling, not only expansion, but delineation. We'll be testing targets that have had mineralized intercepts identified and following up on our C4 discovery. We'll be unleashing our incredible technical team property-wide to prospect, map, trench, sample, soil sample, and drill, do discovery drilling property-wide. And then in the end, it's all about determining the safest, highest margin, and most productive project development strategy. So we'll be coming back as soon as possible with ideas and methodology and process to make that happen. Here's a bonus for everyone who stayed right to the end. Not only does ValOre hold the Pedra Branca PG project, which is a very robust marketplace out there, and an area of the mining sector that's actually quite closely followed. But the company used to be called Kivalliq Energy, and we still hold one of the highest grade uranium deposits in the world. So this is a bonus for sticking around right to the end of the presentation. The Anglak Uranium Project is in Nunavut territory. Our company has spent almost $55 million in that project. Outside of the Athabasca Basin, it has been called the highest grade uranium deposit on a global basis. There's lots of exploration potential. And when the uranium market comes back in full force, we own this asset. The shareholders of ValOre own this asset, and we'll be able to monetize it or advance it depending on what we think the optimal strategy at that time is. Well, I thank you very much for your attention today. It's an honor to present to this crowd. We wish you an amazing 2021, a happy new year. Please take advantage of our website, email, telephone to contact us and stay in touch. And we hope you come along for the ride as we explore the Pedra Branca project, the PGM project in northeastern Brazil. Many thanks.